Welcome back to Gravity Rush. You have a bit of a long part because the mission for this time ends at like 13 minutes, so it is what it is. The timings for some of these are gonna be weird.
Yeah, they are kind of like the Gravity Rush formula was designed to be portable, so a lot of the missions are quite short. Um, and that didn't change when it came to PS4. I suppose the reason it didn't change when it came to PS4 is that when PS4 originally came out, they were still pushing the PlayStation Vita as a remote play option, and they would still be doing that in Japan more often than they're well, obviously a lot more often than they're doing it here.
And I mean, what did that? What that was that basically what the Wii U was,
Yeah,
where you could
It
use
except
was
the Vita
it was
as
an
a.
attempt to be a better version of what the Wii U was trying to do, but
yeah, but you need like the correct connection set up and all that. But basically, yeah, it means that you can play the game laying in bed with your Vita. Maybe a little bit of streaming lag. Po-
which sounds good in theory. Just Vita. It just made the whole situation a lot more expensive than it probably needed to be.
well, at the same time, that's basically what the Wii U was, except the expense was mandatory. So, yeah,
Remember when they promised dual gamepad?
They did.
that
They did. They did do that.
they
Yeah.
And
did.
then and then no games used it.
Nothing. It never ever came from it.
Well, yeah, because who's gonna pay $200 for a second gamepad? Also, I don't think the system ever like gained the functionality to have more than one gamepad connected to it at a time anyway.
No, because it was something that was promised like day one, and it was quickly dropped.
Hmm. They probably mentioned
Yeah,
that.
went the way of the vitality sensor.
They probably made mention of that before they knew exactly how much hardware they had to stuff into the gamepad itself to make it work. The answer is it could very easily have been a its own handheld system if they wanted to make it one.
Uh, you know, it's interesting comparing the Vita and the Wii U because it's hard to argue which one was probably the bigger failure. I mean,
They were
I'd say Wii U because I had more running for it.
yeah, but at the same time, it was also at the very least more prominent. Like
Yeah,
like
I
it was
mean
a high-profile disaster versus the Vita.
Yeah, but that's why I think it's worse
Well,
because
yeah,
it
but
was more
the
of a high
Vita,
profile.
nobody even cared about it. It's like
No.
which is unfortunate because the Vita, in terms of like hardware, was a sexy beast, and I will continue to say that until my dying day.
It had the exact same problem as the PSP,
Yeah.
only on a
Well,
much more.
not the exact same problem. One of the things that killed the PSP was piracy, because it was
yeah.
so damn easy to break the thing in two.
The Dreamcast problem.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, people. Okay, to this day, people still want to get their hands on PSPs just to use them as emulating machines.
Yeah, I mean, if you crack into a PSP, it's one of the best ways to play portable like Genesis, SNES, NES.
Super
If,
Nintendo and
if,
NES stuff,
someone
yeah.
on YouTube is a major SNK fan, odds are they mention the PSP at least twice a video. It's really good for that sort of thing.
Yeah, like I'm sure a lot of old arcade cabinets probably run great on a PSP emulator. It's just, other than piracy, like there are other things that are really important for these for systems, and it's like ultimately it doesn't matter how powerful the system is. It's the games that are more important. You see that in every single console generation. It's the console that has the most powerful like hardware usually loses is actually what I've
It's
seen.
kind of 50-50.
The only example I can think of where the more powerful console won is the SNES. That's the only one I can think of.
PlayStation, depending on what you're valuing as far as power goes, because they're so radically different.
Yeah, I mean, like
the PlayStation One could.
the N64 had like it could win out graphically, but because of its storage medium, it lost out in a lot of other areas. So
So I like to compare the two as the N64 was a monster truck and the PS1 was like an economic friendly car. Yes, the monster truck is more powerful, that doesn't mean that it will drive for longer. You know.
Yeah, well,
So-
in the case of the N64, and well, this could be said somewhat for the GameCube as well. Their choice of storage medium hamstringed what they could do with games on the system. So the result was a lot of games that were multi-platform. Maybe they came out looking better on the N64, but they usually sounded worse and had less content.
Yeah.
So
but I mean, aside from that odd, weird case, like, I mean, PS2 generation, the PS2 was the most successful. It was the weakest of the three. Master System, Nintendo, Master System was stronger. That nowhere even close.
The PlayStation 3 Xbox 360 comparison is interesting because the Xbox 360 would have been the weaker system if developers had taken the time to learn how to work with PlayStation 3's architecture. But
The PS3 also was more beefy and did win out in the end just because of international sales.
yeah, but like the thing is, because the Xbox 360 got such a large early library advantage, developers developed for that first and often didn't bother to learn how to work the PlayStation 3's weird architecture.
Yeah, well, because it worked. Programming and making for the 360 was basically just computing for the PC.
Yeah, and
at the end of the day, which option are you going to choose? The one that you're really familiar with, or the thing that you're not familiar with?
yeah, and the result was that you got a lot of PS3 versions that performed worse than the 360 version. Even though if they had been like focused on the PS3, they probably could have made to work even better.
Yeah.
I mean, was there ever? I'm pretty sure there's an answer for this, but is there ever been a game on the PS3 that was exclusive for the system that took full advantage of like the true power inside the console?
I mean, like Last of Us.
There were
Yeah, I suppose so.
there were a
console's
few,
lifespan.
but I'm not sure off the top of my head which ones I should be mentioning.
Because I can't really think of a game that was touted for being so technically impressive. Because most of the games I think of are just notable for like it fills up the entire Blu-ray, But it's like the amount of space it takes. I think does not equivocate to the horsepower it's running.
Well, I
on.
mean, if we're talking about if we're including early days, I think Metal Gear Solid 4 was.
Metal Gear Solid took out both sides of the dual.
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
Metal Gear Solid is like the only one I can really think of off the top of my head that was trying to do that.
But Metal Gear Solid 4 was also one of the earlier games. So what was impressive in that early phase of PlayStation 3 development isn't quite in line with what's impressive now. But let me think. Trying to think.
You know what? I've got nothing. I mean, at the end of the day,
Ryan brought up. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Uncharted games.
they were at least trying to go for that.
Yeah. Anything Naughty Dog, I think.
The Uncharted games, that's one to mention. They were visual spectacles for sure.
Yeah. And I recall hearing that, I'm not sure if it was Uncharted 4 or Uncharted 3, like the sheer data size of the game uncompressed was like 24 terabytes.
That might be Uncharted 4 on the PS4. I'm not sure, though. I would believe it of Uncharted 4. That game is pretty goddamn impressive. I need to find time to actually play through it.
But it's like, I again, my research on this is a little limited, but I can't think of many games that were exclusive on the PS3 that were like that knew full well the architecture they were designing for.
Yeah.
Because that's always been a damn sticking point for multi-platform.
The other problem with the PlayStation 3 though was kind of specific to it because it had such an early generation Blu-ray disk drive in it. Disk read was pretty slow at the time, which was why a lot of games forced you to install them, or at least to partially install them before you could
to
play
mitigate
them.
the issue.
Yeah, they had to at least install things that were frequently called upon by the game data. So, yeah, that always held it back somewhat, at least. Although
I forget where our original point was going for, but
Power of consoles winning or not winning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
Like
power of the
you
console
said,
doesn't
it
matter.
sort of. It sometimes does. It sometimes doesn't. It just kind of
It
depends.
usually
we're
it's
removed
just,
from that point though. Like
Yeah.
we're far removed from those times though, because now like basically the only
There's
difference
going to be
between
no
the
difference.
PS4.
Yeah, there's going to be no difference between the Series X and the PS5, really.
Yeah.
there's the only thing that's going to matter, I think, is price and launch lineup. That's the
Also,
only thing I
like-
Yeah, well, I mean, again, like with that's every
The,
console.
the other
generation,
thing, though,
yeah.
is that both consoles, I believe, this generation are pushing backwards compatibility as a major thing.
But they should.
Yeah, they should.
You know, because
They should, yes.
again, you're asking for a lot to. I mean, besides consumer loyalty, you are asking a lot to buy a console day one with no backwards compatibility. If your launch window, or at least your launch lineup, is not stellar, which it hasn't been since PS2.
Anyway, back to what's happening on screen.
Anyway, so we're flying. We got missiles. We got barrels.
Who are we actually fighting? Are these actual characters, or are these just random boss mooks?
They're characters.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're going Sailor Moon again. That must mean that this is an important fight.
Oh no, she's gonna block it. She blocked it.
You don't block the Sailor Moon special attack.
What?
A character from the first game.
But wait, hold on, you put the hold on. That would assume put the glasses on. Wear contacts.
But the glasses are an important part of her facial features.
But it's like she was in battle gear before she put the glasses on. So, okay, maybe the visor,
Had lenses.
yeah, lens or some of the shit. Does this battle helmet have a prescription?
I remember the girl with the blonde hair. I don't remember the girl with the glasses.
She was there, I guess. But yeah, they think the mayor's evil, and I mean, he is, but
Oh, no.
and away we go.
The plot thickens. Oh, no.
Well, no, it's more like elaborating on shit we kind of already figured.
Wait, so is the angel girl the daughter of Monocle Man?
It's more complicated than that.
Oh. Oh.
Not in that way.
Monocle Man, Monocle Man.
Oh, dear. This is going to be something that we don't want to be helping with, isn't it?
Exactly.
Are you saying they're taking advantage of us, Lewis?
This world isn't perfect.
It's a slightly,
Dun, dun,
like,
dun, dun,
overly
dun, dun,
common
dun.
plot point in Japanese games in particular, where you spend half the plot doing the bad guy's work for them, only to find out it was the bad guy's work all along, in some fashion or another, around the third act, and then you have to clean up your own mess. So, by the end of the game, instead of being the hero, you're the person who fucked up and then had to clean up the mess that you made. And, yeah. It happens a lot, and I wish, like, maybe games would stop leaning on that plot point so hard, because it's losing its impact, slowly but surely, every time it happens. It's like, you know, just once, I'd like to boot up a JRPG and maybe expect that my characters are doing good things for most of the game.
Might I suggest Dragon Quest XI-S for the Nintendo Switch trademark? Wait, I'm sorry.
a
Dragon
long-ass
Quest
name.
XI-S Definitive Edition Echoes of an Elusive Age. There we go. Sorry.
The official game of the movie.
So,
Game of the Year. It was Game of the Year 2 times in a row, so you know.
So in like the 2-minute comic book cutscene between being told that the mayor was that the mayor was a bad guy, we discovered it for ourselves, and oh boy, oh no.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, this definitely does feel like it's rushing through plot points that they wanted to spend more time developing.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because this actually probably could be an interesting story
Yeah.
if it had time to breathe.
The pacing is not great here. I mean, we're talking Rise of Skywalker tier pacing, and yeah, I'm just gonna use that as shorthand for things are going too fast and too much is happening in too short a time, and yeah. I mean, I still like that movie as an action movie, but
No, the action in that movie was really good. There's just so
The
much
part
everything
where
else.
the part where it wants me to care.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's too much.
Oh yeah,
happening.
it's the backwards Jurassic Park because we were talking about this. See, if we're not going to talk about the game, we might as well talk about our previous tangents. And
If we're gonna make this a Jurassic Park commentary, can we just wait until we actually do the movie?
yeah, but we don't do movies anymore because they take forever.
Why don't you could kill two birds with one stone? I think if Lewis would just sit on his ass and just record like the Genesis game.
That would work
The-
too.
Which one? The good one?
There's
Yeah,
only
I thought
there's two, as far as I know, on the Genesis, and one is the Jurassic Park game, and one is the sequel to that same game where they use the same gameplay engine but just focus more on action. Um, they're both good in their way, but
either way, record one of the Genesis games. That way we can have all of the Jurassic Park tangents.
I thought that one of them was bad. I
I
can't.
mean, most of them are, except the Genesis game.
Okay. No, the Roller Coaster Tycoon one apparently is good.
Roller Coaster Tycoon.
there's
Yeah,
a
there's a.
We just got Velociraptors riding the rides.
no, it's like a park simulator. Operation Genesis on the Xbox and PC, and more recently, Jurassic World Evolution, which is
It's just like a T-Rex as a
which is
carny.
the same thing, only modern. But
Wait, there was an old one too. I heard about the new one. But I
yeah,
didn't.
yeah, there was an old one, and it's a lot more like Roller Coaster Tycoon, I would say. Like you can zoom in on individual park goers and learn what their likes and dislikes are and that kind of thing. Jurassic World Evolution doesn't have that particular feature, but it does do a lot of the same things that Operation Genesis did, and quite a few things that it didn't at the time. Like having an actual story mode, for example.
Do the Can the dinosaurs break out and eat people?
Yes. Yes, they
Cool.
can. In fact, pro tip, whenever that storm warning thing appears at the top of your screen, just send out your helicopter and preemptively tranquilize the T-Rex and all of your velociraptors. You'll save yourself a lot of headaches. The velociraptors
I can imagine.
The velociraptors in particular get really ornery during storms. So,
Wait, is one of the robots a good guy?
He's being hacked by our old friend Alias.
Wasn't that guy a sketchy robot guy in the first game? That
We
was
killed
like
him.
a. Yeah, we killed him.
But not.
So he's a good guy now?
Ugh.
Okay.
I really wish this series had gotten a third game, because this story
Oh, we're playing it right now.
this story what I mean is if this series had gotten a third game, the production values would have gone up, because by then they could trust that the investment and the budget was worth it, and they'd throw more money at it. So we'd have a lot more cutscenes in this game that are like cinematic instead of these comic book things.
Visual novel.
Yeah, the visual novel scenes. We'd have more of that, so we'd have more room for this game to have more poignant moments, which it feels like it really could, but it's kind of, blasting through its own story points too quickly to do that.
Well, again, I also feel that nothing beats playing the game yourself, because despite everything that we're saying, or at least the things we can critique, or as much as we can read from it now, we can only go at the pace of what Ryan is recording.
Yeah,
at.
that's true.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of nuances we're missing here because we are going on Jurassic Park tangents. And did we talk Legacy of Kain?
Yes.
Okay, we talked Legacy of Kain. Okay, and then there was that really weird part where we talked about a baseball player from like the 1920s.
Hey, he was called Stanky, all right.
He played against the famous trio of Tinkers to Evers to Chance. Yeah, stealth mission.
I like how hiding behind a corner and watching someone in video game form is always just like standing behind the corner and tilting the camera so that you can see where your character can't possibly see.
Yeah,
I
at
love
the same-
doing that in games.
I love doing that, but at the same, it's for good reason. First person in video games is just awkward that you just don't have peripheral vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So you
that
can't-
happened. Like I'm playing Doom Eternal right now. It's like it's great, but it's still a first person game. So I'm trying to fight someone and backing up. It's like, oh, I bumped into a wall that I couldn't have possibly seen.
Yeah.
Even though in real life I'd be able to kind of feel that wall was there with.
Yeah, and with
know, my-
with like very
vision.
very few exceptions, games also don't give you a function that allows you to quickly glance over your shoulder. In fact, the only game that does that I can think of is a third-person game. It's Silent Hill. It's one of
I
the
guess
Silent
that's
Hill
where-
function, one of the later ones rather.
I guess that's where VR is supposed to be a thing. I guess,
What?
but
That's still a screen though.
Well,
I mean, yeah, but you can move your theoratically. You
move
can
your
move
head.
your
move your head more
to look
naturally so
behind
you can
you.
glance over your shoulder.
Lucius Foss, you want to be able to move your head.
Yeah, you can actually get peripheral vision in a game. It's just that games don't often do it because it requires specific monitor setups that most people don't bother to put in the money
Yeah.
for. Like, yeah, you've got like a curved monitor and you've got a left side monitor and a right side monitor, and you can have games that are set up with special resolutions that give you a peripheral field of view. But most people don't because that's dumb. You know? Like, you're going to spend, another $400 getting specialist monitors so that you can have peripheral vision.
For remote in most
Or
games.
like enormous black bars on the left and right because the game you're playing doesn't support the resolution you're trying to play it on.
Then you need
Listen, if
yeah.
I could buy one of those cool curved monitors, I would. But
I am personally bothered by it because to a point, because I have two monitors right here and they're both curved slightly, but they're not ultra wide. Like, they're still relatively standard in terms of dimensions. But I don't see the appeal of ultra wide.
I don't
because it's ultra wide.
I don't either. Like, okay, 16 by 9 as a monitor resolution fits the human field of vision pretty damn well. In fact,
Isn't that why we chose it?
yeah, that is why we chose it. I have no idea why movie theaters insist on sticking with the whatever the hell resolution that is, the one that's really really wide, because like
IMAX.
you're not.
It doesn't bother me unless if it's movies like Dark Knight Returns where they switch between the aspect
Oh
ratios.
god, I just got the fucking meaning behind the name. I'm dumb.
Wait,
What?
IMAX. Oh, like your
IMAX.
eyes are maxed out. Oh man.
Like, it fills out the entirety of your eye. IMAX. Well, no, and that's bullshit if you're sitting on the very edge of the seat.
Oh yeah, no. Then
On
you
the
just
left
don't
side
get
or
to see
right
the
side.
right side of the
Then
screen.
it's skewed max. I saw the entirety of like Two Towers and Return of the King like that because those were the only seats left.
Oh, dude, I think for what was that? Thor Ragnarok. I was in like the bottom left corner of the theater, and it was miserable.
So you need to kill the robots without alerting the
Oh,
cops?
no, we alert them to our special friend who can lure the cops away. The problem is I can't do two at once, so I need to disable one to hack the other one.
Oh, I see.
This mission's annoying.
Yeah, this isn't a series that I think really should need stealth mechanics much.
Yeah, when they try to do stealth missions, the stealth is always a bit wonky in Gravity Rush, from what I've seen and played myself.
I mean, I feel like most series with stealth missions don't need stealth missions. Like, unless if
No.
you are actually a stealth game, maybe consider not having a stealth mission in your game.
well,
Unless,
the issue is that without dedicated stealth mechanics, stealth winds up being really fiddly and cheap feeling in terms of gameplay mechanics. But if you have dedicated stealth mechanics, you're wasting a lot of controller space on things that you need for other genres.
yeah. And a lot of games just don't need it. Like, for example, what does the section at the beginning of Ocarina of Time, where you're sneaking into the castle, add to the game? Nothing. It's just an awful bad stealth section that's there because they felt like they needed to have a stealth section. It doesn't add anything. Most games that have stealth sections feel like they have them just because it's there to change up the
In
pace.
Well, where do you guys draw the line in something being there for the sake of having a different flavor or genre, or for that, or that it being there because it thematically makes sense?
Well, in Ocarina of Time, I would say it thematically makes sense. It just wasn't fleshed
Yeah.
out mechanically. But I can give Ocarina a bit of a pass on that because the game as a whole was really experimental mechanically. So they were trying to figure out everything that worked and everything that didn't, and the simplistic stealth wound up being a low point. You know, it's understandable.
Wait a minute, is this our sister?
No, not really.
Oh, she was talking about her sister. So,
Her sister's
I
probably the other daughter that mayor guy was talking about who can't move.
thought- Oh, okay.
Again, not quite that simple, but yeah. Oh no, everyone's against us.
What?
Yeah,
So-
things have gotten stupid.
So wait, so are they not going to arrest us then?
No, because we found the truth conveniently in another Grigo
well,
thing.
the detective is working with us.
Yes.
because he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah, this is very...
So wait, he's
oh shit!
playing.
Like you gotta admit,
he's-
I played the stinking city like a harp from hell.
He's playing the truth on TV for everyone in the town to see.
Yes.
This guy is someone that I am glad we have on our side because he knows what he's doing, unlike half the cast.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I know we've said this 7 times or more, but damn, I wish that they had a full game to actually tell this story.
Yep.
Yes. Absolutely.
This isn't even the worst part of that syndrome. We'll get to that later. Maybe even in the
Okay.
next part of Gravity Rush. We'll see.